and welcome to another Retro Station video. And today we've got something new that hasn't been on the channel before, just like the previous video. And that is two PlayStation 2s. Now, they don't make a PlayStation 4, as the meme was back in the day. They just are two PlayStation 2s on their own. And I picked these up off of Facebook Marketplace about a couple of weeks ago. And the person selling them, it was part of a bundle. There was like two PlayStation 2s, a Wii, two Xbox One S's, an original Xbox, and a Nintendo DS Lite. So they're all not working as well, and I'll hopefully get them working in future videos. But today's video is looking at these two PS2s. Both of them have a label that says not reading discs. Now, not reading discs obviously indicates a problem with the laser or the disc tray, disc drive itself, which could be a number of problems as well. I'm hoping that at least one of these, the fix is just to clean the laser up, or maybe the laser on the carriage isn't moving at all, and we get that freed up and it's able to read the discs. If not, then we have to probe a bit further, and it could be that we need a replacement lens for both of these, which is kind of costly, especially for something as relatively cheap as picking up broken PlayStation 2s goes. So the only way to really test these is just to turn them on and see what does appear on the screen. And like I said about testing that, I've got a little screen, a little monitor off to the side, so I'll just visually see what's going on there when I do boot them up. Right, so I've got the first one connected up. I've got a really old dusty PlayStation 2 controller. I think this is probably my original PlayStation 2 controller. The rubber has been worn off the joysticks here, so they'll need replacing at some point, but it should serve function enough just to boot, or press A onto the game so we can boot it up. Press A, press X. So power's plugged in, the AV cable's plugged in, that goes into a HDMI converter, and let's just grab my phone a second here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the power on at the back, and then the red light does come on for the power, so I can go ahead and hit turn that on in a second. Just going to get the video. So if we turn this on, yeah, you see there, definitely powers up. That's good. And we just get browser and system configuration, which is pretty much what I'm expecting because we haven't got a disk in yet. So let's see if the disk drive opens. It does open, but it was a little bit juddery. So I'll go ahead and test with a game of mine, Dave Mirror Freestyle BMX2. Great game. So let's just give this a try and see what happens. Okay, let's close that up. Yep, so nothing happens on the screen. You can see there it still just says browser system configuration. Let's go ahead and system config. I don't think that's going to allow us to do anything. Just enter that. Go back. Yeah. So it's not reading discs at all. I'm not even hearing the disk drive or the disk tray moving back and forward to try and read the disc at all. So there's something not quite right. So I'll go ahead and turn it off. Should probably take the disc out first, actually. So now what I'm going to have to do then is get this open. There is a way we can test the disc tray without having to put it fully back together again. So flip this over, there's going to be about, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws there, 1, 2, 2 there, so 8 screws total by the looks of it. So we're just going to pry these feet up, and then we'll be able to get into it. So I think it's a Phillips under the feet, of which I'm going to try and use a plastic spudger to get these out. These plastic ones come out nice and easily actually. It'll be the rubber ones that... Oh no. I've never taken a PlayStation 2 apart before, but the fact that they aren't in via adhesive, and therefore the adhesive is useless, is really good. Well done Sony on that one. Obviously they didn't continue that trend into the later consoles, but hey, here we are. So yeah, Philips, as far as I'm aware, I think there's a couple of them that are a bit longer than the others, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I remember which place the longer screws went. I think we need a bigger bit on that one. Okay. So now we can go ahead and flip it over, but the problem is we'll have a sticker here that's obviously there to stop, well, so that Sony know if somebody's opened it up when it was still under warranty. They aren't anymore. So we can go ahead and remove that sticker a little bit. I was hoping it would just peel away. That sticker has given me some grief, so I'm just going to slice it. There we go. Okay, so very dusty, very dirty inside. It probably needs a good clean over for the entire console. But I'm going to assume most of that might have gone into the actual disk drive and caused some debris to go over the lens, and that is what I'm hoping is causing the problem with reading discs. Probably isn't, but it would be nice if that was the simple fix for it. Let's do a little bit of cleanup here. Okay, so ideally I want to remove this completely. So is that held in by a screw? I'm not sure how to get that out. It's the ribbon cable up to the buttons here. I can see that it's a unit itself, but I can't figure out how it comes out. Okay, I think it just sits on kind of like a plastic rail. Yes. Right, so that now allows us to see the inside a bit better. I'm going to spin it around here. We'll need these power buttons at some point because we'll want to be turning it back on without the case being on. Right, I need to get this off so I can see the assembly inside. Four very small Phillips screwdrivers going in there. So let's try this size. Perfect. So 1, 2, 3. Now there is a 4th here, and I assume that's part of the assembly. 4. Yep, perfect. Now, in order to test this works, and this does look a bit different to ones I've seen online, the actual laser component itself. So I'll try and bring this up a little bit closer so you can see. It looks like it hasn't got any Sony branding on it. It looks a little bit aftermarket, but I couldn't really tell you whether the console's been apart or not. Anyway, what we'll need to do is take this little spindle out, because in there is a magnet, and the magnet needs to be present on the disk drive here for the disk to stay in place, obviously. So we just need to kind of like slide it to one side and get it out. It's a little bit difficult, but it should come out quite easy. Just give it some persuasion from the back, maybe. There we go. So now whenever we obviously put a disc on at some other point, we could just place it on like that, and that'll keep the disc in place, and it shouldn't be worried about the disc drive not being correct. So I am going to plug this back into power. The problem with that is we have an exposed board which is connected to the mains power, so do just be very careful. Do not touch anything if you can. That's metal. Most of it is shielded. I think the power supply sits under the motherboard here, so we should be okay, but as always, just be careful. So power in. Okay, so if we get the disc again ready to go, and first thing I'm going to do though actually is just turn it on and see what happens. So let's switch the power on. We get the red light on the reset button, so we should be able to turn the console on. So I can see that I saw then that the disc drive spun. The laser moved up and down to try and read a disc. Obviously there's no disc present, so that was fine. And that opens up fairly okay. There's lots of dust and debris in there that I'll clean out at some point, and that'll help the disc drive to open and close with ease. Now if I close it back in, which actually I'm not going to do that just yet, I'm going to close it back in. Yeah, it hasn't found again, because I want to be able to put this magnet on. So now if we kind of like hit reset, spins the disc, okay. So what I'm going to have to do is plug in the video adapter cable, plug that in, and then switch over to my console. Let's see what we get. So we still get browser and config on the screen, so it's still not reading it, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is just put that in a second. Okay, let's go ahead and reset it. Okay, I think it's thinking about it. Yeah, so it's not reading it. Still spinning for now, and stops. So it's determined it cannot read anything on this disc. So like I said, first step is I'm going to try and clean up the laser, just in case the laser's got any dust and debris on it and that's preventing it from seeing anything at all. So turn that off. Take the disc out. Okay, get a little bit of IPA, soak it in the cotton bud, and just try and make sure it's not enough that it's going to drip off into the circuit, because into the laser. You'll have to wait for it to dry, but let's go ahead and give that a clean. That's a bit. Doesn't need to be perfectly on camera, but all you're doing is just gently rubbing the laser, just like that. Okay, not much came off, not much dirt was actually on the cotton bud at the end, but it could just be enough that it's blocking major parts of the laser as it's trying to read from the disc. So go ahead and turn that back on. Got the lights, go ahead and put the disc in. Put the magnet on and reboot this up. Oh, we are in business, I think. Let's double check what's going on here. Get a video for you guys. There we go, look at that, PlayStation 2. Oh, it's spinning up and then spinning down. We are good, we are reading the disc. Amazing. I think I'll give this more of a clean, but this seems to be, yeah, no memory card inserted. Excellent, right. That means the disc, the laser is working, it can read. It just has a little bit of an issue sometimes, mostly because of the dirt and the dust and everything else. So I think to finish this off, we'll turn this off. Let's see if it shuts down, there we go. So really, for this one, all that's left to do is just give it the best cleanup I can, which I don't really think is going to be warranted on camera. Don't really need to show this being cleaned, but that is a super easy way that if you have got the tools and you can open up your PlayStation 2 and you've got some isopropyl alcohol, which is dirt cheap, you can get it off eBay, Amazon, wherever. That is going to be probably the easiest, the cheapest fix that you can do for a laser not working or a PlayStation 2 not reading discs. So that laser there, obviously it needs to be clean to get a clean signal. If it doesn't have a clean signal, it won't boot. It's as simple as that. So this has been saved, I suppose, by just doing a very, very quick clean of the laser itself. Obviously, if this doesn't work for you, there are more issues present with your PlayStation 2. It could be that it's not able to slide back and forth, in which case what I would probably recommend is, if I can open this up, never lets me go beyond this. I don't know why. Tell you what, let's turn it back on. Open up the disc tray. And then I'll just turn it off. Yeah, so what you'll need to do is get access to your disc tray here, take out this assembly. There are replacement ones that you can buy. They're not cheap, as I said before. What you could do is maybe the rail that this sits on and moves back and forward. So yeah, you don't really want to push it too much like that. That rail it sits on might just need greasing up so it can move freely and move back and forth. Alternatively, there are a couple of potentiometers, I think, on the underside of this that if you were to get access to, you could change them, and that just changes the level at which it's reading the discs from. That would have been set up from factory. Obviously, over 20 years later, those factory settings probably aren't quite cutting it for whatever reason, so you could try and adjust it that way. But there we are. That is a very simple fix for this particular PlayStation 2. I'm going to move on to the second one in just a few minutes, and we'll see if that's got the same story. Right, so that's this one done. I took the sticker off, gave it a little bit of the dusting inside, but nothing major. That's something I can do later on, like a full tear down and a full clean out. But for now, this one is working. Hopefully, we can do the exact same to the second one that is also not reading discs. So, same process as before. I'm not going to speak through a lot of it, not going to speak through any of my thoughts or what's going on. It's more just going to be a quick tear down, keep it connected to power, see if the laser moves. If it does, slap the disc in after cleaning it, and then if it reads the disc, bingo, we've got a second one fixed with pretty much no cost at all. So let's get this one opened up. Okay, so same as before, let's get the disc tray cover off. So again, same 4 screws, get removed. That then lifts off quite nicely. Right, so this time around, and I'll have to look at what the model numbers are, but this one has a lens that has some Sony branding on it. So you can see there, it says Sony embossed into that kind of like plastic cover. So whether they stopped doing that at a certain revision or started doing it at a certain revision, I'm not entirely sure, but here we are. This one has it on. Okay, so like I said before, I'm going to just plug it in and see what happens with our laser here. If I see it kind of like a little bit red, then I know, or it moves, then hopefully the actual assembly is okay. Yep, went red, moved up and down, seeking for a disc. Can't find anything, obviously, because there's no disc in place. Let's go ahead and give it a disc. Same as before, use a disc we know works. Pop the magnet on, go ahead and I'm just going to plug in the video cable. Oops. And then we'll also plug in a controller. Let's see what we get. Okay, same as before on the capture, just as browser, system configuration. It's not seeing the disc. Obviously, I've only just put it in. It didn't know I've put it in, so go ahead and hit reset. Let's see what happens now. So the disc is doing its like quarter rotation spins. It'll spin up. You can hear some clicking going on. And yeah, straight to that same menu before. Can't read a disc. So let's do our same steps as before. Let's go ahead and turn that off. I'm just going to switch it off at the actual power supply there as well. So this time around, I can't see any like dirt coming off it compared to the other one. Definitely on the previous one, there was a little bit of dirt on the cotton bud head after wiping it. So because I've not seen any this time, I'm not 100% convinced that this is going to be the fix. It most likely will be, but my level of expectation has gone down a little bit. So we give it a clean. I'm just going to let it dry a bit. That should be long enough. Go ahead and put the disc in, magnet on top, power on, and then let's just get ready in case we do get it booted. So video. Right, so let's now power on. Spinning up just as before. Yeah, not reading. So I'll probably give it one more clean, and just to make sure. Like it's really trying here. So yeah, it's still spinning, it hasn't given up. Oh, okay. We've decided to boot into the game. Yeah, sorry. And we're booting into the game. Well, yep, there we go. Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2. It's spinning away, making some kind of noises. Seems good. So I think what I'll do is, like I said, I'm going to give that a clean once more. Yeah, we're booted. Let's power that off. And then let's have a little quick look at that laser. Let's get some more IPA just to give it one more once over. I mean, that laser is really clean. Like, it looks spotless to me, obviously to the naked eye. There might be more slightly bits of micro debris on it, which, again, when we're talking about a laser reading disc, that obviously PlayStation 2, it's not as dense as, say, like a Blu-ray, but it's certainly small enough that we really, if there's anything kind of like in the way ever so slightly, it will prevent it from reading it. So let's see if this one boots up this time just a little bit quicker, because that one didn't want to boot up and then did. So let's see how we handle this time around. Okay, so same as before. We get the browser, system configuration, the disk spins, slows down, spins, and then I reckon in a second we'll get something. Yep, there we go. It's decided to boot into it this time. That was a similar amount of time of waiting, I think, so I'll have to see if there's something amiss here, something else at play. But that's definitely booting up, definitely reading the disc. Obviously, I've not sat and played through the game, and I can't sit here and play through the entire game to test it, but that's working kinda. I think from here, I'm going to do a little bit of research and see if the boot time is affected by the laser or by something else, and then hopefully we can go from there.